What's going on? This is Cody, and you're watching B-Boy 45, broadcasting from the Seacrest Studios. And you've got a very special edition of the latest news to keep you in the groove with Maya. Maya, who do we have on the phone today?
Maz Jobrani.
Oh my gosh, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, how are you guys?
We are so good, even better now that we're talking to you.
Well, thanks for having me. Maya, it's awesome talking to you. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Just driving to go pick up my daughter from her school.
Well, that is awesome. Maya, take it away, girl.
Okay. Do you have any new projects coming up?
Yeah, Maya, I am touring right now with my stand-up comedy, so I'm going all over the country doing stand-up live. And then I have a few other projects. I'm pitching 2 animation shows. I am going to be pitching a couple of TV shows. And in the meantime, I'm waiting to find out if the TV show I'm on, Superior Donuts, see if we get a 3rd season. So I am keeping myself busy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It sounds too much for me to manage.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope Superior Donuts gets a season 3. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we love doing it. It's a great cast and just nice people. I think in this life, if you get a chance to work with nice people, then you are a lucky person. So I consider myself lucky.
Well, we feel pretty lucky just to get to talk to you today. Did you know Descendants is one of Maya's very, very favorites?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what? I got to give her props on that. I think it was a fun project to be a part of. And Kenny Ortega, who's the director, was just an amazing person. And then all the actors, again, good people, talented people. And what a fun show. I honestly didn't know the impact it was going to have. But after it came out, when I would be taking my kids somewhere or doing something with my kids, I would have other young kids coming up and going, "Hey, are you Jafar?" And I would say, "Yeah." And so it was neat to be recognized by a whole other demographic I wasn't used to being recognized by.
Sorry, I might have just messed up Maya's questions, but I know she's so excited to talk to you because of that, so I just had to tell you. Okay, Maya, sorry, go.
Of course.
It's okay. So you played Jafar in Descendants, and what was it like being a part of that movie and playing such a famous Disney villain?
It was a lot of fun. We got to be, I was with the parents, so I met the kids as well and got to do a little work with the kids, and they were all very talented and just nice. But also working with the parents, those are all legendary actors in my mind, and actresses, I should say, the 3 of the ladies. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was, again, nice people, good people to work with, but fun in that we got to be the comic relief a little bit. And so I think that we tried to have fun with each other. And in all honesty, it's one of these things where you go and you audition and then you kind of forget about it. And when I got called that I got the part, I was excited. I said, "That's pretty amazing." As you say, he's a big part of the Disney landscape. So it was neat to be able to play Jafar.
And you have the good look for it, too.
There you go.
So you play the character Foz on the show Superior Donuts, which is hilarious. And so do you have to do multiple takes of scenes because it's so hard to keep a straight face?
It's funny you ask that. We are pretty loose on set, and we are all friends, and there are many times when one of us might either mess up a line or forget a line or say something funny that we weren't expecting. So there are times when we lose it. I'm pretty good. I pride myself on being very in the character, not losing it. But I will tell you, at some point this season, I forget when it was, there was a one episode where all week when we were rehearsing, I was getting the line, and then when it came to the night of shooting it in front of a live audience, for whatever reason, this specific line, and I forget what it was, it just kept cracking me up, and I couldn't get through it, and I must have done like 7 or 8 takes, and I kept saying, and then the director would say, "Do you want to just stop for a minute and catch your breath?" I said, "No, I'm ready, and then it would say action, and then I would just start losing it, and they ended up, they did a bloopers reel at the end of the season, and that one moment was just, it was very, very, it was very prominent in the bloopers reel. It just shows me like 7, 8 times, and I started laughing watching it again. So it was really, it's fun to do that sometimes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so do you base your accent from Superior Donuts on someone you know? And can you do any other accents?
Those are great questions, Maya. First of all, I think generally speaking, because I grew up, I was born in Iran and I grew up in America, but I always had a little bit of an ear for accents. I always would be doing voices when I was a kid. I'd do cartoon voices, I'd do accents. And then also, I got a chance when I think I was maybe in the 6th or 7th grade, maybe 7th grade. I was working at a deli. Must have been 7th or 8th grade, now that I think about it, just age-wise. I was working at a deli, and there was an Arab guy who was our manager. And I think that's when I first picked up the Arabic accent. And then ever since then, I have traveled, done a lot of shows in the Middle East, so I hear that Arab accent a lot. So that's kind of where I'm using it from. But yeah, I do a ton of accents. As a matter of fact, I am a panelist on a radio show on National Public Radio on NPR. It's called Wait, Don't Tell Me. And it's a news show where we make fun of the week's news. It comes out every weekend. And on that show, I have found a way to get a different accent into every episode. And what's funny is whatever accent I'm doing, the people from that country usually write in and complain to the show. So the host of the show always says, "Please send your letters to Maz," but I insist that they send it to them.
Well, then that means you're doing a good job.
Yeah. So, who or what inspired you to start acting?
Oh, that's a good one too. When I was a kid, I grew up in Northern California, and I believe I must have been 9 or 10 years old when I first saw Eddie Murphy. And back then, Eddie Murphy was a 19-year-old kid who was on Saturday Night Live. He was the youngest member ever. His stand-up comedy was amazing. So I became a big fan of Eddie Murphy's, and I wanted to be just like him. However, growing up with immigrant parents, they don't want you doing comedy or acting. They wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer. So it took me a while to finally decide to do this professionally, but Eddie Murphy was my hero as a kid.
Cool.
Yeah, he is funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. So, who inspired you to start doing stand-up?
It was also Eddie Murphy. Again, I just wanted to be like him. I wanted to act. I wanted to do stand-up. And I tried doing stand-up when I was around 17 years old. We had an acting program in my high school, and I was in the acting program, and they had a talent show. And I tried to do stand-up, and I would write the material, and I would look at it. I thought it was brilliant. And then the next day I would look at it, and I would just chicken out. I was like, no, this is not that good. This is horrible. And so the first time I was going to do it, I chickened out. And then when I was in college, I was watching a stand-up comedy competition, and there was maybe 2 or 3 people in it. and they were all really bad. And it was funny because I told myself, I said, you know what, the next time there's a competition, I'm going to get in because I might be bad, but I can't be as bad as these guys. So I always say that I was inspired by mediocrity. Those guys were mediocre, and they inspired me to try it.
That's right. As long as you're better than the worst one, that's all that matters.
That's all you need. That's all that matters.
So, do you have a favorite comedian?
You know, once I started, I believe Richard Pryor became my favorite comedian because when you listen to his material, you see that he is making social and political commentary in the material. So I was a big fan of Richard Pryor's. Nowadays, you know, you got guys like Dave Chappelle, Louis Black. There's a guy named J.B. Smoove that's hilarious. My friend Sebastian Maniscalco. There's a lot of funny guys out there, and I always encourage people to go see live comedy because you will discover comedians you never knew were out there. So yeah, there's a lot of guys.
Cool. Yeah.
Maya's eyes were lighting up a little bit when you said J.B. Smoove.
Yeah.
Oh, I love J.B. Smoove. How do you know? Where do you know J.B. Smoove from?
From this show called Real Husbands of Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. He is, I'm telling you, if you ever get a chance to watch any of his stand-up, he is one of the funniest people in the world, and just a great talent.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He is. You know, one of my good friends, Chris Spencer, was the co-creator of that show with Kevin Hart. He helped him create it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I love that show.
It's a great show, right? If you decide you want to interview Chris Spencer, you guys just let me know, and I'll put you in touch with him.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. So you're a part of the comedy group Axis of Evil. How did you all meet, and what made you decide to form a group?
You know, that's a group that we toured with when I first started out, and the last time we actually toured together was 2007. So we ended the group a while back. However, the story is interesting in that Mitzi Shore, who was the owner of the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, who actually just recently passed away, she put us together years and years ago. She's Jewish, and she was watching the news in the year 2000, and there was a big conflict going on. It was another war had broken out between the Israelis and the Palestinians, the Jews and the Palestinians in Israel. And so she said, I think that in the near future, there's going to be a need for a positive voice for Middle Easterners and Muslims. And this was before September 11th. She almost had a premonition. So she put a show together and put me and Ahmed, who's Egyptian-American, and Aaron Cater, who's Palestinian-American, and a handful of other people. She put us all on the show, and she called that show the Arabian Nights. And so we were first doing shows as the Arabian Nights, but Iranians are not Arabs, ethnically speaking. So a lot of times when Iranians would come to that show, they would say, oh, I enjoyed the show, but you know, we're not Arab. And I would say, yes, I know, but that's the name that Mitzi Shore has given it. Well, a few years later, me, Ahmed, and Aaron Cater got together, and we changed it to the Axis of Evil Comedy Tour simply because of George Bush, who had called Iran, Iraq, and North Korea the Axis of Evil, and we were trying to make fun of that because, as you know, people from that part of the world are good people, and we felt that it was not a good thing to have that categorized like that. So we lampooned the name by calling it the Axis of Evil Comedy Tour.
That's a good story. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, I just kind of want to keep talking about Real Husbands of Hollywood with Maz, so I'd be fine just talking about that for the rest of the interview. So,
Oh, you're so sweet.
She's got some more questions for you. Just a few more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could talk about whatever you want to talk about. Real husbands, fake husbands. You tell me, we'll talk about it.
Thanks. So, is there someone you've met that you've been really starstruck by?
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good question. Before I got into this, I one time met Magic Johnson. And as a kid, I used to watch Magic Johnson play for the Lakers against the Celtics. And I was such a huge fan. And I just remember when I got a chance to meet him very briefly, it really was a starstruck kind of like jaw open, I don't know what to say kind of a thing. Besides that, I've really gotten to meet some really famous people, but they've all been so nice. I got a chance to meet Tom Hanks recently, and he was super nice. Like, he made it feel like I was the celebrity, like the way he just was so nice and so warm, And then, of course, on the show, on Superior Donuts, I'm working with Judd Hirsch and Katie Seagal, and those are a couple other, big celebrities, big TV stars, and they just put you at ease. It's so nice when you run into that. So yeah, I would say probably Magic was the one that really got me.
Well, it's not like he's a small guy either.
Yes, you're absolutely right. He's not a small guy.
And if you're a kid, then he's even bigger.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, that's what it is. Like I grew up on him, so I think part of that is that too. When you grow up idolizing somebody, and then you meet them, and then it just blows your mind. It was definitely a mind blowing moment.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. Is there a show that you're currently binge watching?
Ooh, yes. You know what I went back and started binge watching was I went back and started watching The Sopranos again.
Oh.
I'd watched bits and pieces, but I hadn't watched the whole thing from beginning to end. And so I decided, let me try it. And it's on HBO Go. And oh my God, that show is so amazing. It really stands the test of time. And I've been telling everybody, if you get a chance to watch Sopranos again, just click on HBO Go and check it out. It's amazing.
Yeah, and like always, definitely for our kids and families that are watching, check with mom or dad before just jumping on anything. But I appreciate the suggestion. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not necessarily for kids. If you want a recommendation for a show,
for teenagers for sure.
Absolutely. But if you want a recommendation for a show you can binge watch with your family, my 7-year-old and 9-year-old have recently discovered Modern Family, and we're just going through that. So that's one you can watch with the family.
Perfect. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, who's your favorite actor or actress?
That's a tough one. Growing up, I loved Robert De Niro. There's some great. I mean, he's been in legendary movies. He was in The Godfather, obviously, Raging Bull, Goodfellas, just amazing. And I continue to enjoy watching him. I would say that he's definitely up there as one of the guys. Pacino is another one. Sean Penn is another one. I got a chance to act with Sean Penn in the movie The Interpreter, which was Sean Penn and Nicole Kidman. That came out over 10 years ago. But those are all a few of my favorites. Other younger actors that I enjoy, I watched Deadpool, which again is a little dirty, but it was funny with Ryan Reynolds. He was good. Ryan Gosling, I think, is very talented. There's a lot of talented people. Meryl Streep, you can't leave her out. I mean, I could go all day here. John Turturro.
You could.
Riz Ahmed. Yeah, there's so many people I love watching, and I'm just amazed at how some of these people, when you watch them act, it feels like you're watching a documentary. They're so good. I mean, talk about good acting. The Sopranos, Edie Falco, James Gandolfini. These guys are just, I feel like I'm watching a documentary.
Yeah, that's Maya has a weekly show here in the Seacrest studio, and every week she brings info about shows and actors and actresses. So she's got lots of favorites, and she sounded just like you, going on, I like this one and that one and this one.
Yeah.
It's really hard to pin down one favorite actor because there's so many great actors out there.
Yeah. There are. Yeah, sorry. My English isn't always like...
Her English is fine. She's just a little starstruck. She's so excited to be talking to Jafar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, today I was so excited. I was like, I'm gonna be interviewing Jafar from Descendants, so I have to wear Ben's ring. I have to put like purple like hair color in my hair, and
I love it. That sounds like you've done your preparation. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks. So, what song do you love to rock out to?
Oh, what song do I love to rock out to? Jeez, there are, again, so many songs. And my daughter is 7 years old, so we're constantly playing different music on Spotify. I try to turn them on to older songs that I might know from the past. So I will play Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'll play Stevie Wonder. I'll play the Beatles. I will be all over. I play B-52s, the Go-Go's. We got the beat. Everybody get on the beat. We got the beat.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then some other pop will work its way in. Just the other day, I was listening to Jason Derulo. How does it go?
Want You to Want Me?
Want You to Want Me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, you're on it. Exactly. So yeah, I got a lot of favorite songs. It's all about the mood and what we're gonna throw at each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I got caught up. Speaking of which, I got caught up trying to learn. My daughter takes piano lessons, so I'm trying to learn a little bit of piano myself. And I was trying to do Hosier's "Take Me to Church" on the piano, and it's a hard song, but if you get the few chords down, you can just sing. And I just sit there and belt it out and enjoy my own voice.
Cool. Yeah. So, if you had to pick a theme song for your life, what would it be?
Wow, dude, you're asking the tough questions here. I like that.
She's hardcore.
If I had, it is hardcore. If I had to pick a theme song for my life, let me think here. Want You to Want Me. That's a good one. I want the world to want me. I'm trying to think. Gosh, there's so many great songs. What's Going On? Marvin Gaye. It's so beautiful, so deep.
What if we change the question to make it a little bit easier for you? And instead of for your whole life, what about just like a walk-up song if you were a baseball player? That way it's not like you get to change it every season.
But why does it have to be a baseball player?
Okay, a walk-up song if you're an actor.
Well, let me give you another one. When I do stand-up comedy, I often come on the stage with a song. And so for the longest time, there was that song that I don't know if you know it, but it was called "Don't Speak American" or something, and it would go "Papa Americano," bum bum ba dum ba da ba da bum 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 ba da bum ba da ba da ba da bum ba da ba da ba da bum Papa Americano. That was a fun song to come up to because it's all about this Italian guy saying how he doesn't speak English, and I felt as an immigrant that was kind of a good song for me. So let's go with that for now.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, what do you like to do in your free time?
Recently, as a parent, I've been driving my kids to their different activities, and so I love going and watching my son play soccer. I love watching my daughter play piano. So those are two big things. And then I love doing stand-up comedy. So even though it's my job, it's kind of like doing it on my free time almost, because I love being on stage. I love playing soccer myself, but my knees and ankles are getting a little old. So maybe I go for jogs and listen to podcasts. I've been listening to Mark Maron's WTF podcast. I also was listening to one called Trump Inc., which is interesting. So, yeah, those are kind of the things I do.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have a motto or quotation that you live by?
You know, let me tell you something. There is a religion called Zoroastrianism. It's one of the first monotheistic religions. It was the religion of Iran thousands of years ago, before Christianity, and it was called Zoroastrianism. And they have these three tenets that they use to live by. And I'm not really a religious person, but I really love the tenets. And it's very simple. They say, good thoughts, good words, good deeds. So that's it. If you just live by those three things, think good thoughts, say good words, and do good deeds. That's all you need. Then you're just good to people.
I like that.
I like it. Sounds pretty easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to do, easy to say, right?
Yeah, it's so easy to be good. Just be good. Why be a jerk? Life's too short.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this one quote that I really like by Bruce Springsteen that says, it's like, the best music is essentially there to provide you something to go through the world with. And
that's nice.
yeah. I don't know. I just
So
really
true.
like that one. Yeah.
No, that's true. That's very true. I think music does a good job of getting into your emotions, and you're right. It does. It helps you get through life.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So my last question is, who do you consider to be a real-life superhero and why?
I'm going to go with, again, this is a tough one, but I usually bring up Mahatma Gandhi, Muhammad Ali, and Martin Luther King. And those three are three that really affected me. But Gandhi really, when you look at his story and what he did, and he did it peacefully, or tried to do it peacefully, that to me, I think peace is a big element in my life. I'm definitely someone who is not into the violent option at all. I'm anti-war, I'm anti-guns, I'm anti-anything violent. And so, I think Muhammad Gandhi was able to do some amazing things in this world and influence the world using peaceful methods. And that to me is what makes him number one for me.
Yeah, those are three pretty amazing men.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I've been so excited to talk to you. I went to school today and I was telling all my friends, I was like, I get to talk to Maz Jobrani today. I get to talk to Jafar from Descendants.
Oh, you're beautiful. And thank you so much if you did put purple in your hair or you prepared like that, then thank you even more. And even if you didn't, I still love you.
Oh, she totally did. She totally did.
That's great. That's great.
She was even prepared, and then she said, I want to ask this and this, but I think they're in the middle of filming the third Descendant, so I can ask about that. So she knows her rules, and she's right on her path to being a great reporter.
Well, let me tell you something. You probably know more about it than I do. I'm not in numbers 3, so I wouldn't know what you'd be giving me secrets.
Well, I think that was one thing she was wondering, right, Maya?
Yeah.
That she was wondering if the parents were making a comeback in number 3. So,
yeah.
I haven't heard anything, but Maya, if you hear something, you send me an email so I make sure my agents don't mess it up.
Okay.
Well, it has been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure, and we're looking forward to continuing to follow your career. Thank you so much for spending some time with us on Maya's show today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you both.
You
Thank
take care and have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.